Welcome back to the garage, ladies and gents, and thanks so much for joining us. Well, we are going to start the teardown of this 89 ELECTRA Glide, and of course, once you start tearing into these bikes, there's no telling what in the world you're going to find, so let's get after it and see what happens. Before we jump into the fun, two things to point out to you guys. Number one, we did adjust on our clutch. I talked about this at the last video. What was happening before is it was just engaging at the very end, so I wanted to test on it before I stripped the bike down to make sure, if adjusting it out would fix it. Actually did. After doing a proper clutch adjustment, I would say we got about 70, maybe 80% clutch left, and honestly, that is a-okay in my book. But while we were testing on the clutch, we kind of sort of had us a fire on our voltage regulator. Now, it wasn't a full-on fire. It wasn't like flaming up, but it was smoking and smoldering bad, and it was bad enough to get the fire extinguisher on it. I would be willing to bet, though, my $5 life savings that our little battery cables, well, let's be honest, that's exactly what the problem was. That's what caused the fire. So like I said before in the last video, if you're going to test on something like that, you run the risk of having a fire. We got very fortunate, to be honest. I'm glad that we had our fire extinguisher handy, or we might be having a different conversation. But since all is good right now, I'm going to roll this thing out. We got dust all over it from the fire extinguisher. I'm just going to spray that off real quick, get her back in the garage, and we'll start tearing her down. Where is the transmission drain plug? There she is. There she goes. Not stripped. That's good. We don't need that. Oh, that fluid looks a little dark. It's not as new as the transmission. I'm curious to see how much is in there, since it's been leaking for who knows how long. These primaries should just be a quart capacity, right? I know from experience that drain pan right there, that right there is close to 2 quarts. So somebody had that sucker pretty full. It's funny, the last bike had no primary fluid and this one has way too much. Go figure. Well, I was about to drain our engine oil and I just noticed a problem, and it's been, it's been staring at me in the face the whole time. That is not the right oil tank on this bike. Now, I have not published video 1 yet. This is, video 2 I'm working on, so I'm sure people are going to call this out. It's going to be pretty obvious. Not an ELECTRA Glide guy, but I was looking at the shop manual and I was like, well, that's not right. And then I started looking up in here. You can see somebody kind of had a makeshift way to mount it up there. And then back here, you can see right there, that is a weld. That's right, it's welded to the frame. And then right there, that is a bigger weld. Now, I can get those welds broke loose. I'm not really concerned about that. You can also replace these with the correct oil tank. They're not really that expensive, so that is good. The problem is, and this is what I'm learning, and you guys correct me here if I'm wrong, the battery mounts kind of, I think, in this area. And that's fine, we can do that, but then I'm going to have to find the factory style battery mount tray, whatever you want to call it. Then I'm going to have to find the factory style saddlebags to put on here. And, to be honest, that's just going to get really expensive. So what I think I'm going to do, at least this is my plan right now, we're going to definitely get rid of this thing. We got to get this out of here. To me, this just isn't safe. This stuff's going to break loose. Get the right kind of oil tank, but I saw where some folks were relocating their battery here to the middle because we know we got room. I think we're going to go down that path. But first, let's just see if that'll even loosen. I assume that's the drain, and hopefully we can get some oil out of this thing. All right, let's place our bets, see if this will actually come out. Uh-oh, that's not good. Man, I hope this thing ain't seized in there. Oh, got it. I thought I just broke it, but man. I don't know what this is from. If anybody knows what this is from, put it in the comments. I tried to research older oil tanks. It could be from an older bike. I don't know. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We got a bit of a problem. That's going to go everywhere. That is going to go everywhere. Oh boy. There we go. I'm just going to I'll just sit here like this. Oh, good Lord have mercy. That is a lot of oil. Look at that pan. That thing is getting there. It's about 2/3 full. So it had plenty of oil. I got so many ideas going through my head right now of what we're going to do with this bike. Now that I know that the oil tank is no good. Just don't know. You know what? Before I drain this gas, I need to open a door. Hopefully that's better. I don't know, after having that fire on this bike, I'm a little gun shy with messing with gas right now. S&S drain plugs are great to get to. Can I pull this line through? Yeah, I can pull it through. I'm going to use this line to drain. I'm going to get a lot of lawnmower gas out of her. Oh, it's loose, of course. Not going to fight it. Well, I hope I don't have gas going everywhere now. Let me make sure. I know it should be off because I pulled the bulb. Let me make sure the gas is off. There, got it. Good. All right, well, we'll be replacing on that line. That's perfectly fine. Now we'll get some parts off of this thing. I guess we'll start up top here. Get some of the weight off. It's convenient right here. Not correct, but convenient. Well, that was easy. These bars are in outstanding shape, though. They don't have any, I don't see any scratches or anything, as well as these risers. Kind of hate to pull them off the bike, but I just don't want to run these. Over here, all we have, of course, is just the clutch mount for the, obviously for the clutch lever. So that means all we've got is the switch housing for the right side, and then just this. That's probably why I'm going to go with newer style controls. They're just more readily available. I think it was 96 is when Harley Davidson started using the newer style. But you can interchange them. I don't know if the wiring coming out's the same, but you can always make that work. A part of me, though, just wants to simplify this thing and just do a basic wiring harness on it. I know that kind of defeats the purpose of a touring bike to not have all the bells and whistles, but man, it would make my life so much easier. I'm thinking about it, but I probably won't do that. Is that going to back off? I loosened it. Why is it not backing off? There, I got it. The clutch cable's actually broke. Shocking, right? So it was bound up and wasn't letting me back it off all the way. Now we got it. See if our grip is... Nope, grip's coming off, which is good because we can actually reuse these grips. They're in pretty dang good shape. If it'll come off, there we are. Good. So we got grips we can save, and of course these bars will be for another project. These risers right here would look really good on some drag bars. If I can get them loose. Yep. Oh, everything's loose. All right. Surely there's no gas in here. Well, there might be a little bit. Uh-oh, we got a lot of gas coming out. Lots of gas. Whoopsie. Well, that escalated pretty quickly. We got most of it draining down in there now. Of course, I got all the fans going. It's definitely a refinery in here. I got a pump somewhere. I couldn't find it. I could pump all the gas, well, what's left of the gas out. I wonder, since this is a fuel injection tank that somebody converted, if that's why there was kind of like maybe some pockets down in there of fuel, because that was a lot. But we're going to let this air out. I'm going to grab some lunch, and when we get back, we'll get this tank off. Well, that was some unexpected drama. I think I'm going to keep anything flammable away from this bike. Oh, and I took a little, took a crossover line and connected over the frame because there is still some gas in this tank. There she goes. Just needed some pliers. Bolt's fine. Still tight fit. All right, got our cool little crossover line, and this should come right off. and get this thing out of here, at least for now. Not really certain how this whole assembly comes off. We'll get our little metal tie out of here that somebody put in here. If I can even get my dang pliers in there. What in the world? There. I guess these just unscrew. This thing should just come apart. This just come off? I mean, am I making this way too easy? Oh. I think this has to come off first because there's something connected here on the bottom. There we are. And what? Oh, there it is. I think there's one screw going through there on the bottom that's attaching it to this. Boy, it is going to be a mess getting this back on, especially since I'm going to have to fab some stuff up to make it mount back here properly. But this side is not wanting to, she's not wanting to come free. So if we can go ahead and pull this side off. Oh, we're getting somewhere. What in the world? Oh, another screw. There is no way that I'm going to remember all these screws when I go to redo all this. Now, will this side come off? Yes, it will. All right, there's one of them. And of course, our headlight's not even plugged in. We'll get in here and take a look at all these wires here in a moment. What is, oh, we got one more screw up there. Oh, not even tight. Oh, well, if I turned them the right freaking way, that would probably help. Good grief. Boy, my brain must be mush right now. Sitting here trying to loosen the risers by tightening them. Now they're coming out though. Well, this one's got metal pieces coming off. What is going on here? Oh. Oh, just the chrome or whatever that was on that washer. What do you call those washers that go on the top? It's kind of odd looking. Well, whatever. It's coming off. Take a little break in the action here to check out our handiwork. So everything under the tank, other than being dirty, and of course we can clean that up, is pretty intact. There may be some spots in these wires I need to address, but for the most part, nothing too bad. Did notice our little vacuum VOES switch is disconnected, but there is a Screaming Eagle module on there. That's probably why. Rocker boxes look absolutely horrific on the top, but we can polish the sides and most of this will be covered up. I think there's just a bunch of gas leaking down on them. That's what it looks like to me. Over here for our wires, so we got, this is where the one switch housing we had was hooked up for the right side. This should be, I'm pretty sure this is the turn signal module. Everything seems to be pretty complete in here. I do think these right here went up to that kind of that housing or that dash where the speedo was on these things from the factory. Don't know if we're going to do anything with these. I don't know what all I'm going to run just yet. I'm pretty sure this is for the left side switch housing, and then this wire coming off should have went to the headlight. This should have been power going to the headlight since this is coming out of one of these circuit breakers up there. And then I think this was the ground for the headlight. Somebody just cut it. So pretty intact for the most part. Doesn't really scare me too much. It's just a matter, you know, figuring out what we are and are not going to use. But let's get right back to it. Guys, I lied. I noticed one more thing here I got to show you. So I was about to pull the rear wheel. And to pull the rear wheel, I got to move these little saddlebag mounts, which isn't a problem. We got a bolt here. We got another bolt here. These two pieces are welded together. Another bolt here. These are also welded together. And then when you come around here, yeah, welded to the frame. Something else I didn't even notice. So I think for now, just because I'm scratching my head with it, I'm just going to drop the other side enough to get the axle out so we can drop the wheel. But right now, guys, I'm honestly leaning towards, you know, just leave it there for now, of course, but I'm leaning towards cutting all this off later on and just throwing some leather saddlebags on it. I know that's not, you know, a true ELECTRA glide, but let's use some common sense here. We could go to like J&P Cycles, eBay. You can find every bracket you need, every nut and bolt. You can find the right bags, but you're going to spend an absolute fortune. And we ain't doing that. Plus, you're going to have to paint the bags. So, yeah, I think for now, like I said, I'm going to get the wheel off. And then we're just going to kind of figure out what we want to do here. But I think I'm going to have to get some bags and the oil tank at the same time and just try to work all this stuff together. And of course, also finding some bags that's going to clear those shocks. So we've got our work cut out for us on that, but I think we're up for the challenge. Oh, there we go. Just a slightly busted knuckle. Ooh, it was an O-ring chain. Get off of there. Get off of there. Boy, this piece right here is just, I don't even know what to think about it. It is I mean, I guess it's just whenever you thought you've seen everything, right? Don't tell me. Somebody tack welded this to the frame. So how in the heck do you get the axle out? Maybe I'll disconnect the two on the back and see if she'll just drop a little bit. I could probably, they only did it on one spot. I could probably almost take a chisel and a hammer and punch that loose. But God, man, come on. Come on, people. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty close to just getting the grinder out and saying the heck with it and cutting this stuff off. All right, I was able to force this down. I just pushed it down below that bracket. This thing on here is so freaking tight that it's just, it won't even move. I also can't hit the other side of the axle because, you know, same problem. This freaking bag mount's in the way, but I think this will pull out, maybe. Is it gonna clear it? That's the question. I don't think it is. That actually made me feel pretty good to cut that. I needed that. But we got it. What am I hung up on? Do I need to pull the caliper? Probably should have done that. Oh no, we got a spacer hung up. Whoa. No more. She ain't hung up now. There we are. We got it. Hung up on a spacer. Come on, get out of here. There we are. Free at last. We'll balance this thing out and get some more weight off of it. Oh, that almost busted a knuckle. That would have felt good. Make sure you hit your fins like that so you break them. Whoops, everything's falling. Uh-oh. There it is. Got it. Now we can get the carb off. So far, everything on our carb looks pretty clean as far as the way it's mounted, meaning nothing's stripped. Oh, good. These are nice and loose. That's actually good. And of course, somebody put Allen heads in here instead of the flat tips that S&S gives you. But that doesn't always mean stuff ain't stripped. Good. Those are good. And those are good. We got a good collection of spacers in here. Looks like I worked on this bike before, but it works. Somebody actually took the time to do this right. They got a lot of spacers in there though. I guess you use what you can, right? Use what you got. Don't go buy anything. That's what I always say. Even if somebody else doesn't like it, they will just have to get over it, won't they? There she is. Not too bad, actually. Everything on this thing looks like it's in good shape. Gasket, of course, you know, we'll replace that, but it's not bad. Well, that sounds promising. And we're good. Feels like this carburetor has not been on there that long. Everything just seems, it just seems too good compared to the rest of the bike. I wonder if whoever was working on this swapped them. I don't know, your drain line here got melted, but that could have happened, you know, right away. But this is a good carb. It's in good shape. We're going to clean it up on the inside, but that won't be a problem. Of course, we got to get all these cables out of here. Oh, you know what? Oh, I did drain the gas out of this. I was thinking I still had gas in the bowl. Oh, this one's just not wanting to come out. You know what? Is this attached? Yeah, I'll just take this out like that. There we go. Done. Removed. Another win for ratchet wrenches. Well, are you going to come off? I mean, I know they can be a pain. Come on. There she is. Ooh, that one's loose down there. Glad I removed all this. There. I'm having a bit of an ADD moment now here in the garage, and I'm kind of glad I did. So I've been just kind of staring at everything down here, trying to figure out what in the world are we going to do with saddlebags on this bike, because I don't want to try to get factory ones. I've explained that because they're just going to be too expensive. And also, you know, we got to get our covers on here. We just got to make everything work together. So we got these bags already in the garage. They've got the mounts for them. Now there is the other side mount, and there's also the little bar, you know, that connects in the middle. This is just the side piece. But these came off of the 89 Softail that we just did on the channel a few bikes ago. And I thought that on the back of them, back here, that they were just kind of flat. But they actually have the cutout in there we need to fit over our shock. So I'm thinking these bags might have come off of a newer Road King, and they are also Harley Davidson brand bags. I guess they got that going for them. Here's the inside view of the bag. You can see the cutout for the shock there. This will go on just like this, and just goes right over the shock just like we need it. And I'm sure plenty of hacking and cutting will be involved. And where a lot of redneck mathematics or geometry is going to come in is, you know, we might have to space these out just a little bit if they don't, you know, if they don't ride the shock exactly the way we need it, because we want to make sure, you know, they're parallel with the bike, and also we got to make sure our, you know, our angle this way is good, whatever you call that. But I think there might be a way to do this. Oh, let's check our bag, see if it opens. Be a good test. Oh yeah, we're good. Hinges right open. Now they're not perfect. They're old, but they basically fit this bike completely because it has been butchered on. But I think this might actually do it, and of course that'll save us some money. And the nice thing is we've already got lights back here that we know worked. I tested these on that Softail, and we can actually use these for signals and brakes as well. So that's kind of a win. Our bracket back here, of course, is going to be the biggest challenge to make it work, right? Now, it's not sitting down where I'd like it. I think it's going to be kind of a combination of maybe drilling another hole here, you know, to mount it where the shock mounts right there. That kind of keeps it aligned with where I think it was from the factory, where the bag was from the factory. And then just figuring out a way back here to attach this. It's going to be a combination of drilling, grinding, maybe even some welding. But it is going to be a doozy. There is no doubt about that. But I think we're up for the task. So we were going to go ahead and remove this rear fender and then start wrapping this video up, but I'm going to leave that sucker on. The reason is I'm going to get our oil tank ordered and our factory style side covers. I actually found all that stuff on eBay. It's not too bad, which is good news. But I don't want to remove anything. I don't want to remove this bar down here, nothing, until we can just kind of line all this stuff up and just see what the best option is, because everything back here on the back end of this bike has just been one big giant hack job. So It's going to be quite the challenge making all this work. Now, looking at the frame, I can't see where there's any mount tabs or anything that's missing. I do think there might have been some right here and maybe another tab over there. I don't know if that was for mounting those little side covers. I'll find out whenever they come in, right? But if we have to, we can always get something like that. I can always get something like that welded on. That's not a big deal. Even my welding skills could probably do that. And I also think these right here were just kind of, added by somebody. Now the bags mount up to these perfect, but I'm going to still leave those. I want to leave them for now to see if we can actually use this, or if we need to just cut them off and re-drill. We might need to cut these off and drill to get the oil tank and also get those side covers on. No idea. Don't know where we're going to go with that. But I will say this whole section back here is going to be one big gigantic square peg into a round hole. So when we get back with you guys, we are not going to be starting on all this yet because I got to get everything all ordered and, of course, stare at it for about 3 straight days. Going to start doing some cleaning up on her. I know we've already washed this thing off twice. Once was to get this engine clean and the other is because, had a little bit of a fire. But we need to clean all this up here really good, get all this. There's also a lot of grease I want to get down here and just clean up. And, of course, with those wheels being off, that'll help us a lot. This exhaust needs to come off still. I left it on simply because this collector was welded on, I'm almost certain, on the bike, which means getting the pipes off is probably going to require just hacking a pipe, which, based on what happened back here, wouldn't surprise me much. I may be wrong. I don't know. They might come off, but I want to get that oil off that's back there because I don't want to run the grinder and get another fire. Also need to do some more work up here on the front end. Got to get these guys off and pull these entire fork legs out. Need to see if we've got any leaks up here. And of course, we will end up stripping these down and polishing those up really good. So we'll get started on some of the cleanup on that, and then hopefully we can get into this back end just a little bit, depending on when we get our parts. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We've definitely got ourselves another doozy of a project here in the garage, but I think we can reach our goal of getting this bike back on the road where it belongs. So if you want to catch those future videos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. As always, I thank you guys so much for watching. We'll chat with you next time.